I wanted to talk real quick on the subject of acceptance and how important acceptance is in our lives. Now, a lot of people think that when I talk about acceptance, that means you have to be cool with things. It's like you don't have to be cool with something to accept it. So that's the first thing. Get that out of the way. When acceptance is very important when negative things are happening around you, or when you're in a bad situation. You have to accept the fact that this is the situation you are in. It's the first thing. And it doesn't mean you have to be cool with it. You can really dislike the situation. You can hate everything about it. But if that's where you are, then that's where you are. And you have to accept that that's where you are. The reason this is important is because if you're fighting against your current situation, the fact that it even exists, you're not really going to get anywhere. If you're stuck in this idea that like this isn't fair, or that it should have gone this way or it should have gone that way, or anything about the ways it should have happened or could have happened, or if only you had done this then it would have happened. When you get stuck in those ideas about the should have, would have, could have, I mean, I'm sure you've all heard that. You get stuck in those ideas, you're not accepting your current situation. When you can't accept what's going on right now, it doesn't allow you to move forward in a way that's going to be real productive, because you're going to be harboring all these resentments, harboring bitterness, anger, frustration. You can't hold on to those things. I'm not saying don't feel them. We all feel them. Everybody feels them. Everybody knows what it's like to be angry or to be upset or get depressed or feel betrayed. Like, everybody knows all these feelings. We've all experienced them, and it's fine. You're supposed to. Those are natural reactions. It's staying in them. Saying, oh, if things had been different, why did this have to happen? Why did this person do this to me? It doesn't matter, because if that's the situation you're in, that's what it is. And when you can say, okay, this is where we're at. When you have a bad situation, say, this is where we're at. And just accept the fact that that's the situation. Then you can properly put together the steps you need to take to get the best out of it. Because sometimes things aren't always good. And a lot of people think that, when you're supposed to have a positive mindset, that you don't. Some people think you don't acknowledge bad things, and that's a terrible mistake in logic. Like, you can't ignore bad things. You have to accept the bad things. Okay? You have to acknowledge that they're there and this is real. And this is the reality you're in. This is your experience right now. Don't ignore it if it's bad. But what you do is you try to figure out what the best way forward is. What's going to get you the best outcome you can get. And you always aim for that. The first step in that is accepting the situation. And I know it's really tough. I know it's really tough sometimes. Like, if you're really facing some serious difficulties, sometimes it's hard to face that you have to maybe do some things you don't feel like going through. Some things that might be painful or uncomfortable. But you can make it through them. Just because we don't want to do things doesn't mean we can't do things. Just always remember that. Always remember that whatever's coming your way, you can work through it. And as your situation changes, you just have to adjust how you're moving through it. Sometimes the situation can get better. Sometimes it might get worse. But even if it gets worse, you still have to adjust where you're at and accept where it's at. You can't dwell in the past and how things were or how things should have been or what you wanted to happen if it didn't happen. It's like a pipe dream. Accept where you're at. It will bring you so much more happiness in the long run if you can just accept where you're at and then make your plans from that point. Make your plans from this point in reality, from this point in your life. don't ignore the past. Don't live in it either. Accept that your life is where it's at. Wherever it's at, and that's where it's supposed to be right now for one reason or another, and you may never know why. Or maybe years from now you figure out why. You know, when I was at some of my lowest points with my depression and my drinking, and I mean, I was in some really dark and ugly places for long periods of time. And I surely could not see light. And I had no idea why I had to suffer the way I did. In hindsight, I understand. And I'm glad it went that way. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm glad I had to go through that. Because it got me to where I am right now, and the state of mind I have right now. And then I can sit here and make this video and hopefully help somebody who watches it right now. And I couldn't do any of that if I hadn't gone through the struggles. Just face them with courage. That's not always easy. It's easier said than done for sure. But you can do it. You can do it. Wherever your life is right now, own it. Own that this is where your life is. Own that this is your situation, no matter how much you dislike the situation. And then make a plan to move forward from there. I hope this helps somebody. It's just been on my mind all day. And, I figured I'd get it out. So hopefully this can help one of you. And if you think it can help somebody else, please show it to them. That's all I want to do is impact somebody with this. I love you guys. Thank you for taking the time to watch this.